The early morning mist curled over Beijing's narrow alleys, swallowing the neon lights still clinging to the city's pulse. Cameras clicked from a distance, and news vans idled outside the gate of a quiet compound. Inside, the air was heavy with incense and memories. Zhang Guoli, one of China's most respected actors and mentors, sat alone by the window. His hands, once steady from decades of performing, trembled slightly as he scrolled through his phone. The name that appeared on the screen made his heart stop, Yu Menglong. It wasn't a message this time. It was a headline from a fan forum. In loving memory of Yu Menglong, our light, our dream. Zhang's eyes blurred. The young man he once called Xiaolong in private messages had become a ghost of online whispers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this story to keep the light burning for truth and compassion. Years before, when the entertainment world buzzed with new idols and web dramas, Zhang Guoli met Yu Menglong on the set of a historical drama. Menglong was shy, humble, and painfully polite, so unlike the self-assured newcomers Zhang usually encountered. "Do you believe acting can heal people?" Zhang had asked him during a break. Menglong's smile was small but certain. "If you feel the role deeply enough, someone out there will heal with you." That line stayed with Zhang Guoli for years. It was the reason he quietly supported Menglong's early career, recommending him to directors and sending him handwritten notes between shoots. To him, Menglong wasn't just another rising star. He was an echo of sincerity in an industry that had forgotten silence. The night before the news spread, Zhang had tried calling Menglong. It was late, past midnight, but he had felt a strange pull to reach out. No answer. Only the faint tone of a phone ringing into the dark. Now, as the world posted tribute clips and old interviews, Zhang sat in that same silence and asked himself, "Why didn't I call again?" His assistant knocked gently. "Teacher Zhang, there's media outside. They're asking for a statement." Zhang didn't respond immediately. He was staring at an old photo on his table, the two of them laughing between takes, Menglong holding a script upside down on purpose, just to make him laugh. "Tell them," Zhang finally said, voice barely audible. "I'm not ready to talk yet." The fictional world of this story mirrors the way fans often mourn together. In this tale, Weibo timelines overflowed with black and white photos. Hashtags trended faster than anyone could process. Hashtag remember Yu Menglong, hashtag Zhang Guoli weeps, hashtag gone too soon. Clips from the Fox's Summer and Ashes of Love replayed endlessly, each scene now tinted with melancholy. In one video, a fan wrote, "When he said goodbye in episode 18, he looked like he meant it." That comment alone drew thousands of teary replies. Zhang Guoli watched quietly, heart aching at how fiction and reality blurred. He wondered whether Menglong had felt this invisible pressure, the weight of always being someone's light. At a private memorial written as part of this dramatized story, Zhang Guoli was invited to speak. Cameras flashed as he approached the microphone, but when he opened his mouth, only silence came. Then, softly, he began. "In this industry, we often say that youth is eternal on screen. But I've learned that eternity can also be fragile. Menglong once told me that fame is like candlelight. It shines brightest before it melts away. I didn't understand then. I do now." The room was silent except for quiet sobbing. Later, backstage, Zhang Guoli found an envelope in his coat pocket. It was addressed in familiar handwriting. "For Teacher Zhang, when the world gets too loud." Inside was a single sentence. "Thank you for teaching me that quiet people can still leave loud echoes." He couldn't tell if it was truly from Menglong or a fan letter that had somehow found its way to him. But in the mystery of that note, Zhang found a strange comfort, as if Menglong had chosen to speak one last time through the confusion. Rumors spread in the fictional world of this story, whispers of exhaustion, of creative battles, of secrets kept behind studio walls. Zhang Guoli refused to entertain them, yet he couldn't silence the question in his own heart. Was he happy? He revisited old text messages. The last one from Menglong read, "I'm proud to be your student, Laosher. Next time, let's have tea, not interviews." There was no next time. At a press conference a week later, Zhang finally faced the cameras. His eyes, red but clear, reflected both sorrow and strength. "Don't chase the mystery," he said slowly. "Chase the meaning. What we should remember isn't how he left, but how he lived, with grace, with humility, and with hope." The journalists wrote every word down, but Zhang wasn't speaking to them. He was speaking to himself. On the night marking 40 days in this fictional account, Zhang Guoli traveled to Hangzhou, where he and Menglong had filmed their first series together. Locals recognized him but gave him space. By the lake, floating lanterns drifted gently across the water, carrying handwritten wishes. Zhang lit one of his own. "For Xiaolong," he whispered, "may your light never go out." As the flame touched the paper, the wind shifted, and the lantern sailed higher than the rest. Zhang watched until it vanished into the mist, carrying the unanswered questions of their story with it. Months later, a foundation was announced, the Yu Menglong Creative Fund, dedicated to supporting young actors who struggled with self-doubt and burnout. In this fictional tribute, Zhang Guoli became its quiet patron, attending rehearsals and coaching newcomers without fanfare. During an interview about the fund, he smiled faintly when asked why he created it. "Because," he said, "some stars set too soon, but their light, if we guard it, can still guide the lost." The interviewer paused, sensing the emotion he fought to contain. Outside, the afternoon sun broke through the clouds, washing the studio in gold. For a brief moment, Zhang looked upward, as if answering a call only he could hear. In this imagined Kdrama world, grief doesn't end. It transforms. Zhang Guoli's tribute to Yu Menglong reminds us that mentorship, love, and legacy intertwine beyond life's curtain call. Sometimes, the mystery isn't in how a story ends, but in how deeply it still moves us long after the screen fades to black. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this story to keep the light burning for truth and compassion. 3 months had passed since the Night of the Lanterns. Beijing's winter had settled in, crisp air, gray skies, and the quiet sound of snow brushing against studio windows. Zhang Guoli sat in his study, reading through scripts that no longer stirred him. Then a courier arrived with a small brown envelope, no sender written, only 2 words in careful strokes. To the teacher. Inside lay a single photograph, Yu Menglong, smiling in a field of yellow rapeseed flowers, and on the back, a line written in ink almost faded by time. "If one day I disappear, remember the sound of wind through flowers. That's where I'll be." Zhang's breath caught. The handwriting was unmistakable. But the photo had been taken in Hangzhou only a week before the tragedy, something no one had mentioned. A mystery was opening again, quietly, like the first crack of spring ice. In this fictional world, a young journalist named Lin Qian had been covering entertainment news for years. She requested an interview with Zhang Guoli for a retrospective piece about mentorship in the arts. When she met him, she noticed the envelope on his desk. "That picture," she said softly. "I've seen that field. It's near the village where the studio kept its outdoor sets." Zhang looked up. "You've been there?" Lin nodded. "Locals say someone kept returning there after filming ended, planting new flowers every year." Her words pulled Zhang back to a memory. Yu Menglong, laughing as he dug into the soil between takes, saying the color yellow made people forget sadness. Maybe the story wasn't over after all. He returned quietly, without media. The same mist hung over the lake, now rimmed with frost. The rapeseed fields had wilted, but a few yellow petals clung stubbornly to the stalks. Zhang found an old caretaker who remembered the young actor. "He came here often," the old man said in the dramatized story. Said it was the only place he could breathe without pretending. That sentence pierced Zhang's chest. Pretending, the essence of acting, the armor of fame. He stood where the photo must have been taken. The wind moved through the withered flowers, carrying a faint whisper. For the first time, Zhang spoke aloud. "Xiaolong, were you trying to tell me something I didn't hear?" Back in Beijing, Lin Qian sent him a file she'd discovered while researching, a never-aired interview clip from a variety show. The footage, fictional in this world, showed Yu Menglong sitting beneath studio lights, smiling shyly as he said, "If one day I vanish from the spotlight, maybe I'll become a story. But I hope that story teaches someone to rest." The room was silent after he said it. Even through a screen, Zhang felt the chill of prophecy. He replayed the clip until the words engraved themselves in his mind. At a rehearsal hall where young actors trained, Zhang gathered his students. He told them a story, not of fame, but of silence. "The camera is not your home," he said. "Your heart is." He introduced a new exercise, the empty chair. Each student had to perform a monologue to an invisible friend, a way of speaking what they could never say aloud. After the session, he sat alone in the same chair and whispered, "I'm keeping my promise, Xiaolong. I'm still listening." Weeks later, Zhang accepted a directing offer for a new project titled Echoes of the Silent Star, a fictional drama within this story, inspired by everything he'd felt. During filming, crew members often remarked that strange coincidences happened on set, lights flickering when a take ended perfectly, wind stirring the curtains during emotional lines. Zhang would simply smile. In one key scene, the lead actor read a letter. "To the teacher who believed in me, thank you for hearing the silence between words." When they finished shooting, Zhang looked out at the cloudy sky. "Cut," he said softly. "You can rest now." At the fictional premiere in Busan, the film received a standing ovation. Critics praised its quiet power. During his closing remarks, Zhang's voice broke only once. "This film isn't about loss," he said. "It's about the way love continues to echo, even through mystery." As he stepped down from the stage, Lin Qian handed him another envelope. Inside was a newspaper clipping from years ago, a community theater photo showing a teenage Yu Menglong performing in a small play titled The Silent Star. Zhang realized the title hadn't been coincidence. It was a circle completing itself. One spring morning, Zhang returned again to Hangzhou. The fields were bright, the air clear. He set the photograph into the soil and let the wind lift through the blossoms. A distant sound, laughter, drifted through the flowers. He smiled, not searching for proof. Mystery had become peace. "You found your rest," he whispered, "and I found my reason." The screen of this imagined film fades to gold. In this dramatized world, the mentor learns that grief is not an ending but a rhythm, the echo of what love leaves behind. Through mystery, remembrance, and art, Zhang Guoli discovers that some stars never truly fall. They simply rise where we cannot follow. Echoes of the Silent Star is a story of light, legacy, and the courage to keep listening to silence. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the story to keep the light burning for truth and compassion.